All right, we have Gabby Carle. Jason, go ahead and kick us off.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, Gabby. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm holding up. I'm curious. I just asked this of Adrian, so I guess I'll just roll with it again. Um, the team is winning on a regular basis this year. You have a huge crowd coming in, potentially every seat in the stadium being filled. That's a maybe a different kind of pressure than this team has had in a little bit. How do you think the group has grown in sort of handling that kind of pressure, that sort of positive pressure of expectation?
hmm I think when you go to another team's stadium and they have huge crowds, I think it can be intimidating. So for us to have it on our side this time, I think it's more of an advantage. We're excited to have 18,000 plus people coming to watch us.
Uh, Adrian mentioned that at this moment in time, this season can feel a little long. The weather's getting hot. You've obviously, along with a lot of the players for the U.S., you've had to jet back and forth, play those extra games. Um, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, how are you holding up, physically or mentally? Are you feeling, close to 100% right now?
Yeah, I think so. It's been like a long beginning of the season. There's been a lot of things going on, but they've been really positive things. But I think I've had moments every week to reset. I've had time to wind down and get ready for what's to come. And there's things coming for me for the team. We still have a while to go, so it's not time to burn out just yet.
Great. I will pass the microphone here.
Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, Gabby, nice to see you again. You got Alex Morgan coming in the San Diego Wave. Just you being a defender, how do you prepare for some of the high caliber offensive powers that are in the NWSL? Because it's not just her, and I know it's not the first time, it won't be the last time you play somebody with a big name with this caliber in the NWSL. But how do you, as a defender, prepare for someone like her as she comes into Audi?
Mhm. Yes, for sure. It's a challenge, but I think when I decided to come to the NWSL, I came for those challenges to play against these really good forwards, fast, strong, successful. So for me, it's a challenge, but it's an exciting one. And you do your homework, you get to know them, their strength, their weaknesses, and then you compete.
And you spoke a little bit about the pressure when Jason asked you the question. 18,000 plus coming in, maybe a mix of fan bases because a lot of people like an Alex Morgan or someone like that when they come in with the U.S., a U.S. national team person. Uh, you guys with the pressure, I feel like you got a lot of games like this year. We had a lot of eyes on you guys. At this point in the season where you guys are, does this just feel like another day in the office, even though it is a little bit more at Audi Field than usual?
Somewhat. I think we, at the end of the day, have a job to do. I think having all these people, they're coming, well, mostly for us, I hope. I think it's positive, and we want to grow that fan base, and we want people to come and support us. And it's just the energy, you can feel it, and it's all positive, really.
I feel like this type of match where you got high caliber players on both sides of the field, do you feel like it's coming at the right time with the Olympics right around the corner, almost like a preview of what you could see at that kind of level?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's nice. A lot of really good players on both teams, players that will probably most likely be at the Olympics. So yeah, it's a good preparation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Rich, go ahead.
Hey, Gabby. A question not too dissimilar to the first one Jason asked in terms of the players that you're coming up against now in NWSL, but there was probably more excitement here in England than maybe ever before about this league this year because of the big European signings that were going over there. We saw a big influx of some of the top African players. There's a lot of Brazilian players now as well. As a defender, like how is the challenge changing now game from game? Because you're seeing a lot more of the top internationals. You've got one obviously in Washington, in Olamata Sarr from France. Like there's some top players now, but is it changing the style of the league? Is it changing the challenge? You're coming up against such different players from different leagues all around the world every week.
Mhm. The fact that top players from Europe are wanting to come to the NWSL, I think it speaks to the growth of the league, and having them come here grows our game as well. I think it slowly is shifting the way the NWSL plays. And for us defenders, it's definitely a challenge, but it's also making us grow and we have to step up our game and we have to be like ready every game to face them.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabby.
Varun, go ahead.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Doing well. I had a question about what like medical training looks like for you guys now. It feels like for a long time the default training was what they applied for men. And now that we've learned more about women's bodies and how to apply it, what have you noticed about training changing in the NWSL and women's soccer more broadly?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the other teams. This is a really good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that.
Thank you.
And obviously it's not necessarily my area of expertise, but there has been a big push from Dawn Scott and her team to train women as women, and not as small men. And I think you can just see it in the way our training is made, like the way like periodization, depending on, I mean, our cycle and everything. So it just, you can see that there's yeah, changes being made so that it's based on us and our physiology.
Do you have an example of one of those changes that really like you think is particularly interesting?
Yeah. So every day we fill out our smarter base, it's called. So we have a questionnaire and everything. And obviously in there it, I mean, tracks our menstrual cycle, and you can just, there's things you can do in your cycle to lessen the symptoms. And so based on where we are, there's different recommendations on what to eat, what type of recovery to do, what your loading should be. And I think it's really been helpful.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to Jason.
There we go. Gabby, I did want to ask about when you face a team. I don't want to, predict Casey Stoney's plans for this match exactly, but they often have set up to sort of deny the other team what they would prefer. They slow the game down. They make it difficult more than being the protagonist, so to speak. From your position as a fullback, there's obviously a lot of moments where you're going to get on the ball when a team stands off. How can you accelerate the tempo when it's necessary to do that, to help the team go on and break San Diego down if they don't want to come out and play?
Yeah, good question. I think obviously like speeding up the game or slowing down the game, I think it's a team effort. From my part, I think it's about switching the ball fast. If they want to sit back and wait for us, then it's about like how can we go from one side to the other as fast as we can to unbalance them, and then either on my side or on the left side, how can we get forward high up and create chances from there.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Gabby.